Becoming a pilot, I always blame on my mother. I had two job offers. One was to teach biology in Homer, Michigan, and the other was to join the Air Force. And I walked on the beach with my mother, wringing my hands as a 21-year-old would. And I said, I think I'm going to follow in your footsteps and become a teacher. And she levels her eyes at me, and then she thumps me on the head and says, that was my only option when I got out of college, so you think again. 25 years later, I finally retired from the military. I think the military opened its doors for women and helped us walk through those doors. And my generation was the one, I think, that took them off the hinges. We proved that women could fly aircraft, that we could command both men and women, that we could go to war and yet still function and be great leaders. You're allowed to fly for about 20 years, tops. So like most colonels, I found myself in a job in the Pentagon. And it was while I was stationed in the Pentagon, General Garner, retired three-star general, was chosen by President Bush at the time to lead the rebuilding of Iraq. He was one of those enlightened men who knew that he needed to surround himself with someone who didn't look like him, think like him, or even act like him. And he chose me. My generation worked to take those doors off the hinges, but the piece we missed in this was ensuring there were safety nets. So if I'm going to go to combat, if I'm going to do the business of war for this nation, I better have the safety net when I come home so that I can, get well and contribute back to my family, my community. And that didn't happen for women vets. And so that's where the organization that I am the CEO for, Grace After Fire, steps in. The neat thing about Texas is if you show up, they will let you participate. My husband and I retired and we came to Texas, and within, a couple years I'm on a school board, I'm working in a nonprofit. Maybe it's the pioneering, forefathers and foremothers of this state, but they say, come on in and participate. We're glad you're here. I think it's pretty awesome.